part, we have actually several of their sections here. We have beach operations, code enforcement, their beach ambassador. So, you mind if we start with you?
Not at all.
And I'll let you introduce yourself.
Good evening.
Thank you.
My name is Josh Urban, and I am the beach maintenance manager for the TDC. We actually have 3 different divisions under beach operations. We have beach maintenance, we have beach ambassador, and then we also have code enforcement. So I like to say that we're kind of like the beach ambassador. We're the friendly side of beach operations. We're actually a crew of 24 this year. We've added a few additional staff. And so we work 7 days a week. We cover 26 miles of beach. And so our primary responsibility is to remove trash off the beach. A lot of people get confused when we start talking about trash removal. What exactly is that? We have about 600 bag holders up and down the beach that we replace on a daily basis. And so this year you're actually going to see them with a printed message on them. And so we're hoping that this message will actually help our efforts and at the same time help turtle nesting and help the aesthetics of the beach. And so you'll see about 600 plus or minus of these hanging up and down the beach on the bag holders that we will replace on a daily basis. Last year that equated to about 80,000 of these. So quite a bit of garbage. I had no idea when I first started that we had that much garbage on the beach, but that's quite a bit. We also are responsible for maintaining the 60 plus beach, bay, and lake access points. We talked a little bit earlier about regional beach accesses. We have 2 different categories of beach accesses in South Walton. We have neighborhood beach accesses, which are basically just an access point to the beach. Typically have a bike rack, a bag, a trash collection station, signage, foot wash, shower type thing. And then we have regional beach access. We have 8 of those. Those have parking lots, they have bathhouses, and they have a few more amenities. Some have picnic pavilions, things of that nature. So we have roughly 40 plus neighborhood beach accesses, and we have the 8 regional beach accesses. I will tell you we are in the process of developing a new regional beach access out in the Dune Island community. So we'll actually increase that to 9 if all goes as planned. We are also going to be responsible for maintaining the new Pilcher Park underneath the 331 bridge. So that will be yet another responsibility of ours. I think one of the things that Ms. Slade asked me to discuss tonight was leave no trace. So in Walton County, we have a leave no trace ordinance that prevents beachgoers from leaving beach-going equipment on the beach overnight. And so one of our core responsibilities during turtle nesting season is to remove those items. It is our hope this year that with our improved signage efforts, that more people will be aware that, hey, I can't leave this stuff on the beach. I got to take it back with me. Sure. And obviously with your help, it's my hope that those efforts will be reduced. We have a dedicated crew that removes those items 7 days a week. They actually show up at 10 p.m. every night. They work through the night and through the early morning hours. They end their shift at 8:30. Last year we got some 12,000 items off the beach. Those items that we removed from the beach are not recoverable. We actually put them in a roll-off container, and they get recycled at the Walton County landfill. So I don't know how many of those got recycled last year. I don't have the statistics on that, but they do actually. I don't know the process that they go through, but any of the salvageable items, it's my understanding they do maybe sell some of those at the county yard, so they have.
Is that like a code that by a certain time in the night stuff has to be?
That is. It's kind of loosely defined as overnight. But anything left, after we get there at 10 p.m. is removed. Correct. Yes, sir. We also are responsible for maintaining the multi-use trail, the bike path. It's about 20 miles of it. So again, most of your efforts, I think, are going to be focusing on the beach primarily. But in the event you find yourself on the multi-use path, you see anything that needs some maintenance, needs to be addressed, please reach out to me. My card is here. I left a stack of them, so please take those. I am a good point of contact for any maintenance-related items that you may find out on the beach, or if you have any questions regarding some of our accesses or various resources that we have out here. So please feel free to contact me. And again, I appreciate your efforts. I think with us combined, we're really gonna make, an impact this year.
Real
And-
clean beaches.
I'm sorry?
They'll be really clean.
Really clean beaches, that's what we're striving for. One other thing that I'm going to emphasize, and then I'm going to leave it, is the fact that we don't actively clean the flat portion of the beach. There's some confusion with that. We are focused primarily on the actual trash collection points and items that are left near the bag holders. As far as all those items that, are random items that are left on the flat part of the beach, unless it's through our leave no trace efforts, we do not collect those. Nor do we actively clean the beach with a sand sifter or a machine like that. We do pull rakes behind our vehicles that smooth out our tire tracks. It's actually fabricated and designed by one of our own. And so that does reduce, our footprint as far as our traversal across the beach. But that's the extent of our cleaning efforts on the flat part of the beach.
Except for when you say the flat part of the beach, what does that mean?
Flat part of the beach, so anything from the toe of the dune to the water's edge. So that flat section of
But
the beach
that's
there.
where people leave their tents and stuff.
That's it. So I'm saying outside of leave no trace efforts,
Okay.
during the daytime, we don't actually drive up and down the
Oh,
beach and pick
yeah.
things up off the beach.
Yeah, okay.
There seems to be a little confusion with that when they hear beach cleaning, they think that we remove those items on a daily basis. During the daytime hours,
No.
we simply do not. So, yes ma'am.
Is there any group in your organization that we can contact if we encounter a hole that's too big to fill in?
Sure, that's going to be a code enforcement issue perhaps, but if it's a large hole and it's a safety item, feel free to contact me. We've actually had some situations where the hole is so large, we had to bring our skid steer down there to smooth it out and fill it in. So, hopefully again with the ordinance revisions, we'll have less of that because it's a lot harder to dig a big hole with a plastic shovel. But, not to say that there aren't willing people out there doing that. So, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you put the garbage receptacles just at the neighborhood access and the regional ones, or can you put them at like condos if we request it?
That's a good question. Another question we get often, we actually do not differentiate. If a private property owner contacts us and says, hey, we would like to have a bag holder installed at the end of our walkover, we will certainly do that for them. We look at it like this. The majority of those homes and waterfront properties are bed tax collectors. So part of their bed tax collection goes toward beach maintenance. So that's kind of our logic behind that. We have them all up and down. I have a lot in Sandestin, Hilton, those various properties. We have our bag holders. Just call them, that's it. That's it. All right, any other questions? Thank y'all for your time. Did you have a question?
I get all 18 right.
No, you don't. Sorry.
I'll be quick. I'm Jeff Debate. I'm the code enforcement, beach code enforcement manager, the lead beach code enforcement officer, the code enforcement supervisor, the judge. We have lots of names. Most of them we won't repeat in any one friends. McVeigh. It's MCD like Victor AY. And while y'all are writing, our office phone number is 622-7895. 622-7895. That's actually forwarded to my cell phone, which is 428-0089. We recently hired, as recent as Monday, an administrative person who will inherit that phone number. And I'm excited. So we'll nip us out a little bit.
And here, which one, your cell or?
The cell phone is my cell phone. The first number I gave you will not be on my cell phone anymore.
Okay.
And I'm excited to say the least.
Was it 0029?
428-0089 is my cell phone. 0089. I got three of the guys with us tonight, Cliff, Danny, and Buddy. They're your evening shift crew for tonight. Cliff is without a partner. His partner will start next week, so there'll be two guys on each shift all week long at night. Two of them on the morning, we start at 5 a.m. and during the season we go till midnight. So from 5 in the morning till midnight, there's two guys on the beach. There's a split guy that'll be out from about 8 o'clock through the middle of the day, so there'll be 5 people on peak times, and then myself. So the odds of seeing one of us now are considerably greater. When I started in 2012, it was me. Me and 26 miles of beach, now there's 11 of us, and we still can't keep up with us, so you can imagine what we've fallen. We're governed by Florida Statute 162. Florida Statute 162 tells us what we can do and what we can't do. Code enforcement officers by statute have to issue a violation first that says, a warning that says you committed a violation. Unless it's irreversible damages or if it's a safety-related issue. So, a couple of hints on that. Examples may be glass on the beach, a dog not on a leash, a bonfire on the sand. Issues that is irreversible or could be construed as safety that we can issue a citation immediately. Our citation starts at $100 for the first violation. Every subsequent violation goes up $100. So on the third time we deal with you, it's a $300. We issue civil citations versus standard code enforcement issues, courtesy warnings, and then a written warning, and a notice to appear, and then the code board violation, and it takes about 90 or 120 days. We get out, we have a conversation, write a ticket, and give you a court date if you choose. So ours is pretty quick. Chapter 22 is the ordinance that we deal with, the beach activities ordinance, which deals with glass and dogs and beach vendors and water sports. It incorporates the leave no trace. The leave no trace is handled by the beach ops guys, because for us to deal with it, we have to first put a notice on it and say it's a violation. And then tomorrow we have to come back and see if it's still there. And if it's gone and it's not a violation, well then tomorrow night it's back. Well, those guys, because of the ordinance, they can handle this trash. If they drive down the beach and violate the ordinance, they can haul it off and put it in the dumpster. So that's why they do the leave no trace, which was a huge load off of us, which loosens us up a little bit at night to be able to do stuff like bonfires, wildlife lighting issues, glass, a lot of glass at night. A lot of things that's not always in the ordinance that's captured in that little one-liner that says things are unethical or immoral over there. That's some of our nighttime tasks. Moving forward, we've failed to accurately capture all of our complaints. Here's why. You text me, or you call me, or you email me, I'm off. Then when I get it, there's nobody on duty, or I send it to the guy that's on duty what happened 4 hours ago. So to fix that, we now have a complaint form online. So if you go to southwaltoncodenforcement.com, save it. I've got it on my notes. I've copied and pasted the URL code. So I text that to people. When they text me and say, I got a complaint, I just text them that and say, click on this. So what it is, southwaltoncodenforcement.com. When you go there, it pulls up a complaint form. You fill out the required fields and hit submit. When you submit, it hits 11 email boxes. All 11 guys get it. It also drops it on the collector app. The collector app is on our telephone, so we can pull up the map and see all the little red dots, and each red dot equates to a complaint. We can click on that, there's your complaint form. So we've got your name, what you're complaining about, what the description of the problem is, where the problem's at. And it helps us to capture that complaint and more appropriately respond versus it being 2 or 3 hours later or whatever.
Do we have the ability to attach a photo?
Right this minute, you do not. And that's the problem we learned earlier this week. Well, actually this weekend we learned that. So you can go to the map and put a pin on the map, or you can't attach a photo to it. What you can do though is all of our email addresses are our name, like Jeff at businessoutwalton.com, or Dave or Harold or Danny or whoever. So our name at businessoutwalton.com, visit southwalton.com. So our name, visit southwalton.com, email the photos if you want to, and say, this is in reference to the complaint I entered at East Run. So then we'll know we can plug that into whoever picked up that case. We are not an emergency response agency. you dial 911, you can sheriff's office, or you get South Walton Fire. If you want us to help you out, that's the way to do it through the complaint. If Danny's working tonight, he's at the end of the beach, and he gets to complain about a dog loose at Miramar, odds are, he won't make his time. But he'll pick that data up and close that case out that he didn't find it because he didn't get to Miramar. So bonfires on the ground, not in a container, that's things that we would be more likely to pick up and go to right then, because those are things that have a long-lasting detriment to the beach versus just a dog that's running loose without a collar.
But if I'm at Grayton, and you get all the people that drive that don't have their passes, and I get an actual picture with the license plate and flip it over, does anything happen with that, or are they just, well, we didn't catch them, so they don't get a fine?
I have to see the violation. Fire Station 1 CCT says we have to personally observe the violation.
Oh, so you have to see it, so I can't send a picture of the car
You can send
without
me a
it
picture.
and the license plate, but I
You can
need,
send me a picture, and then
but if they don't come and see it,
You don't drive by and find them.
I have to personally observe the violation. Or if I can create a case, if I can call this guy and say, hey, your truck's on the beach, do I have a permit? I just run out there one time and take a picture and walk, so he's admitted to me it's a violation. So then based on my personal observation, he's violating the ordinance. Yeah, I issue a citation. But if you send me a picture of the truck on the beach without a permit on it, the permit might be on the other side. So I have to
search the whole thing.
So I have to-
I'll give you the 360. That still doesn't count.
What that does is helps us to pay attention to that vehicle next time.
Next time.
Because, we refer to Grayton as a fish pond. It's like fishing in a bait bowl.
I know.
In a big hole, but I'm sorry.
I was telling him earlier, I'm in the wedding business, I take photography.
Oh, yeah.
And, the one I always run across is the balloons being released.
$100 ticket.
What do I do? I mean, I've gotten in almost screaming matches where I had to turn around and walk away.
When that complaint form,
Yeah,
submit.
but if it's a tourist that's gonna be gone in a couple of days,
Well, you hit submit, you're out there with him.
right?
So he's getting ready to start doing this.
Right.
So you punch up a complaint that takes you 45 seconds, hit submit, and whichever one of those four guys that's working,
Oh, okay.
they're close by, and they just try to do it.
Because I've stopped a couple people from doing it, but I've also had them tell me that,
And Sammy's usually really good to go to that, but because y'all are in the daytime, probably not reported, but anything that blows up or goes up is illegal. If it leaves the ground on fire, it's one of two things: we issue a citation for it, we seize it, and we turn it over to the state fire marshal's office.
yeah, I seen them do that too.
Right. One other thing, if you email us, hey Jeff, I saw this guy, he's the same church that does this every day, and I'm tired of it. Will y'all please come out and ticket? Florida Sunshine Law makes that public record. So if somebody calls us and says, hey, I want to make a public record request, say who complained on me, then they get your email. So make sure to do hey, just want to let you know, this guy seems to be a repetitive issue here in this area. Would you give the opportunity to pay some attention to it? Then call us and say, this guy's a jerk. He's bad as y'all are. He just won't leave us alone. He's a thing, and then we'll get somebody. Anything else?
That's question before we go.
That's the question I'll make a statement.
Your hours are 7 days a week?
7 days a week from 5 o'clock in the morning till midnight.
Okay.
Now, for the next 2 weeks, our evening shift guys are getting off at 8:30 because at 8:30 it's pretty slow.
Okay.
Now, in 2 weeks, then we'll be back to midnight, but there'll be something to do all right.
Okay, well, just FYI, somebody told me recently they had called on a weekend, and it basically indicated that it was closed.
If you call street side code enforcement, you'll get that.
Okay,
If you call me, you get my voicemail.
well,
You
I
call that. But what's the cure for that?
do the forum.
Flat on this a bit.
We've got to educate people about that. That's
We have
our
5
job.
minutes before the recording stops, so can we
You ready?
have
I'm
more
ready.
questions during the
Still
break?
loaded shovels, only if you're a vendor, sheriff's office, South Walton Fire, whatever that question, that's all I do. So
Say that again, about shovels?
Plastic shuttle.
those still loaded shovels unless you're a vendor or a county agency. So you can't just give people.
So if there's dogs on the beach, unless you see them, it doesn't do it, won't do anything it does, comply.
If you
Who's out there to bust people?
It's all about this.
Who's there to educate?
If you let us know we're a half a mile away, we can probably see it without binoculars.
But we're there to educate, not to bust people. I mean, you should tell them you need to have a permit and they need to be
Hey
on the
guys,
beach.
we'll still be here during the break. You can ask me all the questions you want. The recording ends in 5 minutes, so let's get to the beach ambassador here.
My name is John Callens, and I am Walton County Tourist Development Council Beach Ambassador. I came up here with like a certifiable course to give you guys, but everybody ahead of me has done such a great job. Did see you later. I'm going to make this quick. And forgive me, I have to use my notes. I'm getting kind of aged and have to refer to notes and stuff, but I don't want to get into Faith and Lori's time there. I'm going to give you a brief history of Walton County's Beach Ambassador Program and maybe give you some of the most frequent questions we get out there, stuff like that. In 2009, the Board of County Commissioners mandated to the TDC that a Beach Ambassador position be established. And the purpose of that was for educating the Walton County beach visitors on the Leave No Trace ordinance that had been instituted a couple of years earlier. The first beach ambassador was actually a maintenance person who took that job on part-time outside of his maintenance duties. And it eventually evolved into a full-time position with a person outside of maintenance that works. And it also evolved into educating the public about some of the other ordinances besides Leave No Trace. These beach ambassadors were managed and under the guidance of code enforcement. We fast forward today and there's now a newly formed beach ambassador department within the Tourist Development Council. It's going to be staffed by 5 people, among them myself. And it's also going to have some added duties in which we won't just be helping educate beach visitors. We'll also be going out to bed tax collectors and kind of getting them to help us out, educating them to get them to help us out with some of these issues we've been having on the beach. Some of the top questions we get out there, which you'll get some of these yourself. Number 1 question. What is a beach ambassador and how do I get your job? It's a fun job. I usually tease them and I say, well, you don't want this job. I mean, who wants to be out on the beach all day talking to people, having fun, catching melanoma, that is the number 1. You'll probably get that yourself. So, what are good places to eat? Restaurants, things like that. You'll get a lot of questions about where are the amenities in town. So it's a good idea to stay in touch with the visitors center in here, and they can give you a list of things that you can carry out there and offer to people. Sometimes I will give some printed material out to people. When I answer those type of questions, they usually come in the form of what's your favorite restaurant, stuff like that. I'll give them a range of things. I don't want to favor one person over the other or one entity over the other, so I'll give them a range of things. Sometimes I'll give them some printed material like a best of, whatever, in that regard. Let's see, we usually get questions about water quality, beach conditions, wildlife, flags, all that stuff. Usually you can find those answers here in the Visitor Center that you can keep out there with you for reference. There are also other entities such as the Florida Wildlife Service, South Walton Fire District, many other entities, the NOAA and the Weather Service that can help you out each day with bulletins and alerts and stuff on your smartphones for water conditions and stuff like that, the health department. You also, when you're out there, you're possibly, maybe even likely to get some questions about some of the county and TDC actions, like changes in ordinances and stuff like that. When we're out there, we get those kind of questions. If it's something that's appropriate for us to answer, we'll answer them. If not, we usually refer those people to the entities who are appropriate to answer those questions. We generally try to stay out of that fray of what the Board of County Commissioners do and TDC does and stuff like that. And it's best to stay out of that. Let's see. And this has already been mentioned extensively by the sheriffs and Sammy and code enforcement stuff, but I'll just touch on it again. How do you handle aggressive and hostile behavior? You know, when we're out there and we run into somebody who's just being a butt, the best thing to do, this is what we do, we should say, you know what, have a great day, hope you enjoy the beach, and turn around and walk away. You know, there's no shame in that. Just walk away. It's not worth the headaches or the trouble or the frustration of dealing with somebody like that. Now, if it's a situation where there is a perceived or implied threat, as I stated before, walk away, get to a safe scene, and then contact code enforcement, either non-emergency number, sheriff's office, or code enforcement. Somebody let them know. Let them come out there and check on it and take care of that for you. I'm going to end this with the TDC beach ambassadors and the volunteer beach ambassadors. We're going to become close partners, and we want to work closely with y'all. And we're all going to have the same goals out there, which is fun and harmony on the beach, and we all have the same passion for it. Somebody asked me what are some of the differences. Well, and my first answer was benefits. I get benefits, but there's not really a huge amount of difference in what we're after out there, what we're trying to achieve, and what we do. So I was going to take questions, but I think what I'm going to do is ask you guys to email me those questions.
Actually, they should email Lori.
Okay, email Lori those questions.
Together.
And we'll be happy to get them answered to you. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I want to get paid for more of their time up there. Otherwise, I'd talk to
Which is
you.
actually
They're right, right?
Actually, the recording part's done, so
Okay.
if they want to ask you or Jeff,
Okay.
I know we had to cut Jeff a little short because some of the other speakers took a little long time. By all
Sure.
means, take some time and ask them more questions. It's just not being recorded anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Which is fine.
So how do we know where you guys are, the three beach ambassadors?
Well, I don't know that it's going to be important for that, but you'll be seeing us out there. We'll be in the same uniforms that code
I mean,
enforcement.
are you gonna be driving like the code truck, kind of?
We won't be driving code truck. Now, we will have vehicles out there. We'll have four-wheel drive vehicles.
Okay,
We'll have gators. We'll also be out there on foot, just like you guys.
okay.
My preferred method is to get out there on foot. I have the most fun and probably get the most production out of just being out there on
And then
foot.
you're just gonna, like we do, just walk the beach?
I'll walk up and down the beach. Now, I imagine, this is my imagination here, I imagine we will probably be a little bit more mobile than you guys will be, in the fact that we'll cover more linear distance because we'll have vehicles and stuff out there. You guys are probably going to walk up and down the beach, but I'm imagining you're probably going to stick close to the accesses, as you're walking up and down the beach area, But,
And then what are your hours? Are you working like 8 to 5 on the beach?
well, we're going to cover the beach probably between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. 7 days a week. So we'll have somebody out there during those time periods.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How many are y'all?
Well, right now it's just me. But here in a few weeks, we're going to have a staff of 5. So we'll have 5 people out there. What else? I'm single. Yeah.
Will that be 7 days a week?
It will be 7 days a week, yes, ma'am. Do you have any more questions for Jeff and code enforcement?
She has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The water quality, last year with that Atlanta meteorologist or whatever, it became a big issue. So what do we do about that? And where do we find out the?
Well, if you get questions like that, you can refer them to us or the visitor center. And normally, or you can get on the health department's website, they're usually the ones that put out those bulletins and notices. And they're my top go-to for water conditions and stuff like that. So And you know, when you run into a deal where some social media or some media outlet broadcasts that, you have to tell people, you know, I've not heard that yet. Let me get in touch with our sources and see what's up with that, you know.
There's actually a website that tracks all that, and we will make sure in that email with contact info that we'll send you that website. That's where we send everybody, they track it, they handle that. It's really, so in that mode of referring people back to the entity that really handles that, it's a great source for that, because then it takes us out of it. You can say, you can check it every day. Here you go,
Yeah.
this is where you go.
Yeah, you can do that. Or you can have them contact that station in Atlanta that put that out.
Thank gosh, the recording first.
Anything else? Clint is legal putting on this place. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know Lori and Faith has some more stuff to go over with you guys. And most of them are not here, but I also want to thank the presenters that came here and educated us. I want to thank Jeff and them. Appreciate y'all coming out. And the other code enforcement officers for